In this video, I discussed a promising new hair loss treatment, KX826, also known as Pyrilutamide. I'm going to talk about what it is, how it works, what the clinical trials show, and how it fits into your hair care stack. Pyrilutamide, or KX826, is a topical androgen receptor antagonist developed by Kintor Pharma in China for the treatment of androgenetic alopecia, also known as pattern hair loss in both men and women. Unlike finasteride or dutasteride, which are 5-alpha reductase inhibitors that prevent the formation of enzymes that convert testosterone to DHT to block DHT production, Pyrilutamide blocks DHT's action directly at the hair follicle, preventing DHT from causing the hair to fall out. This is the same concept as now abandoned research drug RU58841, but with the benefit of formal clinical trials and safety testing currently behind it. Here's how it works. Dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, binds to androgen receptors in your hair follicles. That triggers follicle miniaturization and progressive hair loss. Pyrilutamide is designed to compete with DHT for those receptor sites, preventing DHT from activating them. Because it's topical, it aims to limit systemic absorption and target the scalp only, meaning less of the drug circulates through your entire bloodstream, leading to less risk of hormonal side effects like lowered libido or mood changes. Now let's take a look at some of the major studies posted so far. In an early phase 2 trial in China, around 120 men with androgenetic alopecia were randomized to several pyrilutamide doses, 0.25% twice daily, 0.5% once daily, and 0.5% twice daily versus placebo. After 24 weeks, the 0.5% twice daily group showed a mean increase of 22.7 hairs per square centimeter from baseline, and 15.3 hairs more than placebo, a statistically significant difference with a p-value of 0.024. That's a strong result for a 6-month study, approximately on par with what finasteride might accomplish in a year. Next, in a phase 2 study in 160 women, the best performer was the 0.5% once daily group. At 24 weeks, they gained 11.4 hairs per square centimeter versus placebo, with improvement visible by week 12. Side effects were limited to mild irritation, and no systemic hormonal changes were reported. Then we have the US phase 2 trial with 123 men. Same 24-week duration, same doses. The 0.5% twice daily group gained roughly 10 hairs per square centimeter from baseline. This sounds good, but the placebo group also improved, making the net benefit over placebo possibly not statistically significant. Moving on to the large phase 3 trial in China, involving about 740 men using 0.5% twice daily for 24 weeks. The results showed significant improvement versus baseline, with a p-value less than 0.0001. However, the difference versus placebo did not reach statistical significance in the main endpoint, which was target area hair count. That means both the drug and the placebo groups gained hair, but not enough to say that the drug was statistically significant in treatment. In a phase 2 study, Kintor then tested a new tincture formulation at 0.5 and 1% concentrations. In 24 weeks, the 0.5% twice daily gained about 22 hairs per square centimeter, 1% twice daily gained 21.9, while placebo gained 8.7. This brought the separation versus placebo back to around plus 13 to 14 hairs, similar to the strong phase 2 results. So what's the big picture? Across all trials, Pyrilutamide consistently improved hairs from baseline, but only the early phase 2 trials showed clear statistical significance over placebo. Later and larger phase 3 trials for the 0.5% formulation didn't show clear statistical significant superiority over placebo, but trials for the 1% formulation were again statistically significant. Short-term safety looks excellent, as phase 3 trials have established safety of up to 52 weeks, but long-term safety after this is limited. While some news outlets have interpreted the phase 3 results as disappointing, Kintor still actively believes in the drug and is continuing to advance trials and research with Pyrilutamide in varying concentrations and formulations. However, it's important to note that none of Kintor's findings have been published in peer-reviewed journals that have held up to the scrutinization by the scientific community. So where does this fit into your modern hair care regimen? As a man, your foundational treatments should still be oral finasteride or dutasteride that have proven DHT suppression. Topical or oral minoxidil should also be added as a proven hair growth stimulant acting on a separate effect axis. Next in line, secondary treatments that have good safety profiles include microneedling, which can be used to stimulate nutrient distribution to the scalp, and ketoconazole shampoos that can be used also as another potential 5-alpha reductase inhibitor locally in the scalp. Red light therapy can be a method to promote collagen synthesis and mitochondrial activity for better hair growth. Finally, copper peptides can be added to stimulate hair follicle growth. From there, it can make sense to add a topical anti-androgen like Pyrilutamide, since this current stack doesn't have any androgen receptor antagonists. However, with finasteride, dutasteride, and ketoconazole implemented, androgen receptor blockers lose effectiveness since there are less androgens in DHT to block in the first place. Even if pyrilutamide helps in theory, 5-alpha reductase inhibitors are better monotherapies, and stacking them probably has a dyssynergistic effect. But if you're concerned about the potential hormonal side effects of 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, or want to use all treatments at your disposal for hair loss, adding pyrilutamide makes sense. And of course, discuss any new treatment with a dermatologist before starting. The good news is pyrilutamide seems to have a good safety profile. Across the clinical studies, side effects have been mild and local, things like redness, itching, and scalp dryness. So far, no serious systemic side effects have been reported, but there also doesn't exist long-term multi-year study and data proving its safety in these cases. Right now, Kintor is running late-stage clinical trials in China and the United States, but you can get your hands on the product legally now because Kintor is currently marketing the drug as a cosmetic under the Koshine brand and on their official Amazon store, whose link is listed on Kintor's official site. Multiple formulations are available, including the 0.5 and 1% concentrations, available in serum or foam, and even formulations meant to prevent hormonal acne through the same blocking of androgen receptors. However, this is still an experimental topical and not an FDA-approved medication, so please use only with the advice and consent of your doctor. In conclusion, pyrilutamide, or KX826, is a promising new topical anti-androgen for hair loss. Mechanistically, it makes sense, and studies have shown great hair count growth compared to baseline and good safety profiles overall. But the later trials show that it may have to be used at the 1% formulation in order to have better effectiveness. My opinion is that the mechanism of action makes sense and there is good evidence to show that pyrilutamide works to some extent. Once you've maxed out your higher priority hair loss items, this is an evidence-backed treatment that could be added to your stack. I certainly plan to use it and will follow up with my personal experiences. If you've tried pyrilutamide or plan to, please let me know about your experiences in the comment. Links to studies and sources will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more self-improvement content.